Going live. We're live! Yay! Here we are. Math 60, Intermediate Algebra 5.3, Polynomials, page 2. Where's my fingers? There's my fingers. Ooh. Or page 3. Today or tonight or right now in this moment, us together, maybe in the future because I'm time traveling if you're watching this later, we are going to be adding and subtracting polynomials. Now, you're going to look at this and say to me, wait a minute, this is just combining like terms. And I'm going to say, yes. When you bought combining like terms, you got adding and subtracting polynomials for free. Woohoo! There are a couple parts that are a little bit complicated, so I'm going to make sure I have my trusty yellow highlighter. Nothing bad can happen when you've got a highlighter. Okay, so to start off with, if there's a plus in between two polynomials, notice these are each trinomials. So let's try the problem. Sorry. You know, I think most dad jokes are actually math jokes. Now, I'm never sure how to write this because it is complicated. I'm adding, but this plus here kind of bangs up against this minus. Really, I don't need to write this plus in the middle. I can leave that out. The point about this is if you're adding two polynomials, all the signs should look exactly the same as the problem in the problem you were given. And then at this point, you get a couple options. One is if you're feeling really, really good about your combining like terms, you can just combine them. If you're feeling a little sketchy, or if like me, you have a little bit of dyslexia or dyscalculia, then I'm going to recommend you write out more. The more that you have the paper do, the less that you make your brain do. So I'm going to make notes. I copied these both down. Notice I bring the x cubed terms together. And then I look through and I go, oh, there's an x squared. And when I copy one of the terms down, and I've been doing this since I was tiny, so I don't remember why I started this. I put a little dot underneath to let myself know I've already included it. That way, when I'm looking through, I can find the terms more easily. Now, why do I do that instead of just like totally like scratching it out? And the answer is, one, it shakes the table and scares the cats, which was kind of hilarious. Sorry you weren't here. And but also it's because if your teacher is reading your work, they need to be able to read the previous line. And if you've scratched everything out, it makes it hard to give partial credit. So this is a nice way to do it. If you really need to, go ahead and do like, I'm going to write down minus 2x. And if you really need to, you can just lightly cross it out to let yourself know, okay, you used it. But again, make sure you're able to still read it and make sure the teacher is able to still read it. Let's see. And then I've got a minus 4 and a minus 10. Now, from here on out, we're going to have really, really long things. Some of these problems we're going to be doing, they might have 9 or 20 or a million terms in them. And so I'm going to encourage you, and again, especially if you know that you have a tendency to reverse things, forget things, all those super fun things that make life so much more exciting. I'm going to encourage you to double check everything. So what I'm going to do is notice that this is 3 terms and 3 terms. So I should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it. Okay. So either I invented a new term or I got them all written down. Now that the like terms are close, it's going to be easier for me to combine them. 3x cubed minus 5x cubed negative 2x cubed. X squared is all by itself. Minus 2x is all by itself. Minus 4 minus 10 is negative 14. Bam. That's it. That's how you do it. We are bosses. You guys are so brilliant. So now let's go to the next one. Dun, dun, dun. Now, subtraction is exactly the reason why highlighters were invented. I truly believe nothing bad can happen if you have your highlighter and a calculator. So, shall we try? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it really big so that we can't miss anything. Whenever you're feeling nervous about math, write it bigger. It looks very impressive. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I had to turn it sideways so I could get some real big writing going on. There we go. Okay, I've rewritten the problem. And since we're subtracting, I want to remind you the subtraction follows through just like with the distributive property. There are two ways to look at it. Some people like to imagine that there's a -1 that multiplies through. I actually prefer to think of this as the opposite of everything. So in which case, if I have positive 7r, I'm going to expect negative 7r when I multiply out. If I have negative 5s, I'm going to expect positive 5s. Positive 3t, I'm going to expect negative 3t. So everything should be the opposite of what it is there. So it's your choice, multiplying by -1, taking the opposite. It's totally up to you. Notice that this first set of this first polynomial here, we just write down as if nothing happened. No big deal. It's in front of the minus, so nothing changes. Okay, next up, I've got, let's see, negative 7r plus 5s minus 3t. And this is where I'm going to come through with my trusty yellow highlighter. Oh, and smear everything. That confuses the bad guys. Definitely smear. Smear, smear, smear. And they're like, oh, wait, I thought you were doing math, but I guess not. And you're like, ha, 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 I tricked you. Okay, so notice I had 7r. I now have negative 7r. I had negative 5s. I now have positive 5s. I had positive 3t, negative 3t. Woohoo. So I changed all the signs. Same thing is going to happen. Either you combine like terms in your head, or again, if you're like me and you don't have to do it, you don't have to take as much time. Don't worry about me. I'll be here. I'll be fine. Just because I have a master's degree in math and you don't doesn't mean that you should stop and wait for me or anything. I don't mind at all. I'm going to rewrite all of mine. Let's see, 9r, 5s, the opposite of t, plus 5s. Okay, I think I got all of mine. All 6 terms are here, and I combined them so that the r's are together, the s's are together, and the t's are together. And let's see, I think I've got 2r. Ooh, look at what happened with the s's. That's kind of cool. The s's are gone. And then minus t minus 3t is negative 4t, because a t by itself, remember, is actually a single t. It's 1t. So minus 1t minus 3t is minus 4t. Woohoo. We're done with polynomials. Psych. We're never done with polynomials in math, but we're done with the introduction to polynomials. Next up, we're going to multiply these suckers. Wait till you see. Woohoo.